We don't have an election season coming up right away, but but certainly the e-voting thing is something that's people have been paying attention to, and so it sounds like we have an example here.
So we have a little bit of good news, I think, but the reason for it is some really awful security. So the Virginia State Board of Elections just decertified a horrendously insecure voting machine, the AVS WinVote from Advanced Voting Systems, which, by the way, is no longer a company as far as I can tell. So for me, the company goes out of business, I would immediately start decertifying the machines because there's no patches forthcoming.
Right.
Anyway, this one was pretty bad. Each machine apparently used WEP for Wi-Fi, which anybody who's been around for a while knows WEP is dead, long dead. I think in 2004, the IAAA started telling people to stop using this, and these were still using them. And it had a number of horrendously insecure default passwords for the administrator account on the machine and for the database key for the Access database storing the vote tallies. There's an article on Ars Technica and a really good write-up on the Freedom to Tinker blog about these machines. And they basically walk you through how would somebody with minimal technical knowledge hack an election. And it basically you step through, you crack WEP, which are tools to do this very easily. You connect to and one of the several open ports on this machine for administrative access, and then you copy the database out after decrypting it, modify the database, and put it back in place. And you've won the election. Now there are comments on the Freedom to Tinker blog, which I found were pretty interesting. Somebody, I think from Virginia, was talking about whether or not this is really a feasible attack, whether or not doing this at scale makes sense, what human factors there are in place to prevent someone from tampering with like one voting machine, if the relative levels of, say, Democrat versus Republican votes are relatively the same across a number of machines, and the one machine that got owned was skewed way out of whack, might mean something to them as well. But I mean, if these machines are supposed to be the front line of defense against this kind of vote tampering, this is not the kind of machine you want doing the job.
Yeah.